Hi guys, welcome to episode 5. This is going to be Speed Mix with a Noob. And I'm Isaac, and we're going to work today on Westward Shore. Continue working on Westward Shore, that is. Um, Quick personal note, I just did challenge workout number 25 of the second challenge. I'm on the 5th week of the second challenge, so I'm 12 weeks in. I'm on the 6th week. I'm in the 6th week. So I'm in week 12 total. I'm almost at the 50 pound mark. And my weigh in on Sunday, final weigh in, and then I'll start the next challenge after that. So just moving right along, things are going good. I do have a little bit of a strained rotator cuff that's making things a little tricky, but like right now it feels perfect, but there's certain exercises that bug it. Also, another personal note, I took a dive into the world of Android development, which has been really fun and interesting. I have Android Studio installed, and so I'm working with Java and XML. And I went to Udacity, I think I'm saying that right, Udacity, and I found their Android Studio intro course. I'm going through it, and I've kind of got into programming a little bit on my own. I did like a learned Python the hard way course. I've studied a little bit of C++. I know HTML going way back, and I've dabbled in SQL. So I have a okay grasp on programming languages. So this Android course is actually moving too slow for me. It's going really, really slowly, which is what beginners need. But it had a dozen different exercises on recognizing the errors in when you're trying to combine like integers and strings, or so a lot of that stuff I really got bored. So last night I decided to go to YouTube and find what did I find? Build a sliding menu in Android Studio. And I was like, okay, I watched the first few minutes. I was like, this looks sufficiently challenging. Well, it turns out it's actually like way on the advanced side. And I guess the one I picked, the guy goes real fast, and he has like a text document, and he's like highlighting the step. It's like, I suspect maybe he's not an native born English speaker, so he's got a language barrier, but he's highlighting text, and then he jumps to Android Studio and he does it real quick. And it's a lot of intensive Java stuff, creating classes and wow, some of the stuff I've never seen before, never heard of. And then we're like inserting grabber, and there's all this stuff that you can insert with Android Studio right into the Java code, and it like puts these blocks of code in there, stuff I've never seen. So I'm kind of flip-flopping between the extreme of like, this is what an integer is, this is what a string is, and here's how you build a multi-piece sliding menu. I feel okay with it. I just need to be careful, I guess, going too far ahead into the advanced stuff. But I just get impatient, I want to learn stuff. I want to know how to do it today. And I want to know how to build I have an idea for an app. It's essentially a food timer for the challenge. And the issue I have with any of the other food timers is you have to put in specific times, like eat your breakfast at 8 o'clock, and then 10:30 is your first protein shot, and then lunch at noon, and it's set, and then it reminds you, and that's fine. What I want is an app where you can just open it up and say breakfast is right now, and hit the button, and then it like populates every 2.5 hours your meal times. So that's what I picture in my head. Real simple, and I want to build the app for myself. So and then once it's built out, I kind of have this seed of an idea of building an Android app and selling it to the gym that I'm using, because they don't have an app, and putting tools in it that I would need as a challenger, because I'm participating in one of their programs right now. So I'm like a field tester. I can get in there and like I know the things I want in one app. Like every day I have to go to the map. I have to go to their schedule. I have to open my meal timer. I have to use 4 or 5 different apps on my phone when I could just have their app and open it up and have all those tools in it. So anyway, that's a total aside that has nothing to do with mixing, so sorry. But just as a personal note of what's going on with me. And also just so I don't have to always update about mixing, or I mean my challenge. You know, there's other things going on in my life, so that was the point of it. All right, so when we left, we were converting these MIDI to, we were converting audio to MIDI so that we could then put a trigger. And what I found is that these, I get duplicate notes here. Let's just listen to just drums. Where's my snare? Okay, I think what I decided to do is I decided to redo all the snare MIDI because I was getting all these crazy doubled up notes. So I think what I realized is I need to have, I actually need to have more than one. I need to break this up into, and I thought I had, but I guess I really haven't. I want to break this up into the parts. Well, I guess, I mean, it's all kind of, yeah, it is all set up here. So basically what I'm going to do is just have, I have to just do it in sections, and I guess move it. Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll do it in sections, and then I'll, well, no, see, my whole goal here is to prevent, I guess what I can do here, let's do this. MIDI output, yes. And then this top snare needs to feed both of these, does it? Snare trigger, yep, okay. Snare trigger 1 and snare trigger 2, just so we don't get confused. I'm going to have this do MIDI out for all of this, and oops, MIDI output. Anything else armed? Why is it giving me that warning? No? Okay. You are about to record with multiple tracks set to the same input. Yeah, that's fine. Copies of the same audio. I don't have audio. I don't want audio coming in. Okay. Let's just say record. Okay, this should work. So what I'm going to do, let me just mute the main. We don't need to actually listen to it as it's working. I'm going to actually cut these two into pieces, and I'm going to move. So this snare trigger 1 will just be for this section, and this one will be just for this section. I think, but the trouble is, I was getting like duplicated notes, and I think there's a chance I still am. Yeah, I still might be. Wow, crap, it looks like some of these are like bursts of MIDI. Look at that. That's crazy. So I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong exactly. I guess I have my threshold set wrong. Ooh, this might be it. I have, yeah, see? Look at how I have 0 hold on here. That could probably, that probably explains it. So let's start over. I was seeing like 4 and 5 MIDI notes in there, and that's terrible. Ideally, let's just hit play and see how this. I mean, that threshold looks like it's set okay. The problem is, I guess I can have 2 thresholds set, one for the top one for the bottom one. That would make the most sense. And then I need to have at least, let's say like 30 milliseconds hold here. Okay, so in some places it's not going to get, one of them's not going to get it, and then one of them's going to have both because of the way I have to set the threshold. So this number 1 will be the more sensitive one. I mean, that looks fine right there. Yeah, that looks fine. Yeah, that looks about right. Going based on this blink, seeing that blink and looking at the notes down here. Okay, but then in the less parts, what do we? I mean, I guess this looks okay. No, see right there. You want to have one of these needs to be set much lower so it's getting all those lower notes right there. Although, let's listen to that. I wonder if does page up go to the top? It probably does. Why am I getting nothing out of those? They're just not routed anywhere. So weird. I'm not getting any audio. Okay, the point was, there's some audio. Okay, these lower parts, but I think this might be bleed. Yeah, that's bleed. Although that's not bleed. That's a drum roll right there. Snare roll. Yeah. In fact, if we just normalize this, no, I guess that's going to be as good as it'll normalize because of that giant peak. That's going to be tricky because it's going to put a bunch of little MIDI notes in a row. So that might be a section where we roll back the MIDI and just leave the natural notes. And we could actually just slice from here and then normalize these. Yeah, let's see. But that might be just overkill. Actually, that sounds fine. That sounds fine. So when if the MIDI bugs that out, I'll remove it later. So let's see here. I guess I should measure the average length of one of my snare hits here and see what we got. We want this hold to hold long enough so it's not getting 2 or 3 MIDI notes off of one snare hit. Alright, so my selection is telling me that's 13 milliseconds. Okay, so let's put this to be safe. We'll put around 20. And do the same for this one. Oops. Okay, that's close. Alright, now we can do our MIDI out and see. Hopefully we're not getting those insane quadruple snare hits. That was just ridiculous. Yes. Okay, let's see what we get here. One. There we go. Okay. Well, see, this one's getting like these little ghost ones in between. That is weird. Well, I guess if the threshold is set more sensitive on this one, yeah, that could just explain it. I wish there's a way to do this faster. I don't know if there's an offline option. Oops, I have one of the triggers turned on. Or it's just the audio coming through. And one of the tracks actually soloed. Okay. So the next thing I need to do, I'm just going to talk over the top of this so that it's not so boring, because we're just staring at it rendering the MIDI out. We want to go into our chorus area and find our perfect chorus snare hit, because we can't just use, like on the song Down Again, I actually used a total of 3 different snare sounds. Kind of a hard rim shot for the chorus, and like a standard snare strike for the verse, and then what you would call like a soft, I think it was a soft rim shot for the pre-verses, like the build-up parts. So, I wonder what this looks like. It's going to be a mess. Yeah, just like a solid line of MIDI. That part we'll just trim back and we'll leave the natural snare sound in there, because it didn't sound that terrible. So with this song, I might try the same approach. Get a chorus hard rim shot sound, a verse kind of standard hit, regular snare hit, and then the pre-verse parts, when it's kind of the jangly country part, have like a softer rim shot. It depends on what's in the track. Depends on what's there in these live sound captures, the real sound. Come on, keep going. Okay, so these look good here. Well, yeah. See, that threshold's so low that there's all that, but I can always just trim that out. I can either go in there and just delete all those, or just trim the whole I'll slice it and trim it back, you know. Split it and trim it back. Gotta stop saying slice it. Although I guess that's just semantics. It doesn't really matter what I call it as long as I know what I'm talking about. Kind of. Pardon me, I'm going to have a drink. I hope it doesn't come through the mic. Drinking some unsweetened seltzer water, yum. But at least has a little bit of flavor, little bubbles. Better than just plain old water all the time. I drink so much water all day, it's like, ugh. Give me a little bit of flavor. All right, yeah, see, this one's going to be problematic. So we can tell right away we'll go with this top one because it's those notes look like more like exactly what we want, a steady hit on the snare. So, but then I suppose the goal was to have the chorus. See, this bottom one we might just have to throw out completely. I have to get better at this. I have to figure out, or I guess I can go look up settings on how to make the best snare MIDI, you know, from a gate. If there's some trick or something. All right, that should be it. Save. All right, so do we have this one turned on already? Yeah. All right, so let's find that chorus snare hit like I was saying here. And this should be routed to, well, I'm still not hearing it. This is tricky with all this routing because you want stuff turned on and then turned off. There it is. Okay, so again, I'm going to have to do the same thing where I'm going to want a combination of the top and bottom sound, but they need to be aligned and it needs to be the best of what I can find. That one sounds pretty good. But if you take out that bottom snare, it sounds just like a tom, which, I mean, it pretty much, you know, it is. It's a tom with a little snare of metal, a little series of metal wires underneath that make it sizzle. Okay, so what I need to do, I believe here, is render. Look at how I still feel like that's possibly phase right there. So I'm wondering if I just flip this. Yeah, that sounds. This might be the one I want. Let's go with that one. Looks a little more robust, which is a word that I hear so much now. It's like, what does it really mean? Robust as in coffee, like it's full-bodied, and I guess that's what it means. Full-featured, feature-rich. All right, so let's render out. So, again, the tricky thing with this was we were getting mono. We were getting stereo, and I just want mono. Full speed offline, time selection, stems. So that should do what I'm asking, because I have this selected. I have a time selection of just the snare hit. Let's give it a little more tail, just to be sure. I'm telling it mono, and I wanted to add to the new project. So let's try it. Wait, render 2 files? Why am I? What else do I have selected? What else? No, that should be it. Maybe I should. Let's try it. Looks like it worked, but let's see if we do get a mono. Oh, okay, snare bus. Oh, the master track was selected. Well, you know what? I think it worked. All right, it worked because there's our snare sample. Let's send it out. We're going to put it out to the desktop. I find this easier, even though this is taking a while. Okay. I'm going to hold Alt, Control, drag right, yeah. Boom. We're going to call this Westward Shore Chorus Snare. That's where we intend to use it. In the past, I've called them like rim shot, and I've given them fancy names, and then later I would confuse, like, which one was I going to put on the chorus? Which one was I going to put on the verse? All right, so we go into our mixes. There's Westward Shore. We're going to put it in here. And from here, so, and again, I do this because if I ever want this again, if I ever want to move this around to different computers, I want to be able to zip up that. I want that sample zipped up inside the project. If it's on the desktop, when I go to open it in the new location, it'll say that you have files missing. Okay, let's turn that off. These we don't need anymore, or we can just do the routing. Just turn the routing off. That's probably the best. Okay, when you have more than, you don't want to sit there and check. Just go to your matrix. So much easier. Once you get used to this, you'll like it a lot better. Where are you? Snare trigger. We don't want you going to anything. Or I mean, snare. Here. Bottom and top. You don't need to go anywhere. Right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Alright, so that took care of like 4 right clicks. And alright, let's give it a listen. Let's see here. So, this is our first chorus. So we're going to leave this part of the MIDI in place. So let's get rid of this section. We're not getting rid of, we're just trimming down. We'll split it there. We'll split this one here, and we'll drag this one back.
Jump into the river. Yeah.
Oops, that's not
Jump into the river. Yeah, we're trying to make it.
Ooh, that's ugly. And why is that? Look at all these doubled notes. Oh my god, what am I doing? Boy, do I need to learn how to do this better. See all these doubled notes? Oh my god, what happened?
Yeah, we're trying to make it.
Wait, that actually almost sounded like this one.
Yeah, we're trying to make it.
Almost. It's not, though. Why does it do double notes? I think it has to do with my attack and release time and my hold. It's like it's crossing the threshold. Oops. It's because I think it tells it to make a MIDI note on open and close. If it was just on open, then it would just make a single note, but it's like it closes too. So it makes that, and I guess the fix for that would make the hold a lot longer, make like triple the hold.
Yeah, we're trying to make it to the other side forevermore. We're not mistaken. Life is better on the westward shore.
Maybe it's 'cause no. Sometimes you can just draw across it and it lets you. I don't know what I'm doing wrong here. If I have something turned off, dock editor. No. Sometimes it just lets you drag across here, and it just. Oh, see, just like that. So I'm not sure what I did wrong. What I'm doing wrong. If I have to start outside the section, now it's doing it. I need to get that script going again. I had a script where you could just hit like, set it to like, had it like at Alt Control H, and it would humanize these hits, which would just put them random all over the place. Kind of like what I'm doing manually, but it would do it quick. Instant.
Yeah, we're trying to make it to the other side forevermore.
It sounds pretty
We're
good.
not
The one thing I do want to do is a little bit of automation here.
Yeah, we're trying to make it to the other side forevermore. We're not mistaken. Life is better on the westward. Yeah, we're trying to make it to the
All right. It's so crazy how when you first started, just jumping everywhere. All right, let's go slower. Maybe a little faster than that. The idea here is that you want to mimic a drummer hitting each hit just slightly different, which is really is how they play for the most part. See, the thing that I wonder about that is if I need to, because it almost seems like it would have a different snare sound every single time I hit play. So if I need to like render that into an audio out so that it's set, it's not that LFO isn't, each time I hit play it's at a different position, so it's like, it basically just takes the robotic sound off your ear. Kind of, I mean, that's the goal anyway. See how this one sounds. Too much kick snap. Covered by dB. I think we definitely need more distortion. Ooh, freaking doubled up notes, man. That's annoying. I need to really study up on that. Like, go watch a tutorial or two and ask someone that knows, because they're ugly. There's one right there, I think. There's another one. I mean, it's not that bad to come in here and do these by hand, but it is annoying. And if I forget one, oof, that's bad news. Sorry about that. There's a little blip there. I had to jump up and use the bathroom. Nature calls, you know. So we were trying to find these stupid duplicated MIDI notes here. And I don't know what. Again, I think it's... I just don't know how to set up a proper gate to MIDI trigger without getting those. I'm guessing they're closed notes. I guess really, excuse me, to fix what I have, I can just increase the hold time and maybe give it some release time too. Perhaps would do the trick. Here's my decay. Okay, so we wiggle that around. We go to our parameter modulation, set it to LFO, slow it way down. Maybe center it. Oh, that's weird. It's weird how it like hops at the end right there. That's weird. I wonder if tempo sync sounds good. Maybe. See, that's what you want to avoid. That sound right there where it's... Okay, so something's weird with my... Something's off with my decay because it's like it pauses at the bottom and then it jumps. Okay, that's better, but I don't want it. I guess because of the way I have it set, maybe. Right, it's trying to swing all the way to the end of its path. And that's too much. So. That sounds better to me. Still not quite. Is there another double in there? Sneaky little double. It's funny because the double almost sounds like a natural human mistake, but they're too close together that you can tell. Right there, was there a double? No. That should be good. You can always come back and adjust those later. You don't have to leave them at exactly those settings. Ooh, ugly. That's because we have two triggers running side by side, two different sounds, and two different timings from the triggers. Ugh, that was terrible. There we go. And we have doubles in this guy too. Oh my god. Man, they're everywhere. I almost feel like I want to go back and just try again with the MIDI output. It's a trade-off. Do I sit here and edit out every double, or do I sit through another recording of I wish I could just delete them from here, can't I? No. I guess it's quick enough to just do this, but it's such a pain. It feels like such a pain. I know I've had it set up before. I wonder if is there a preset that I was using that was just making it work? I may have just thrown a preset on there in the past. Let's take a look. It does have a preset. Snare to MIDI. Well, shouldn't stress about it. Just get in here and go get rid of the doubles and move on. There's one. It sounds like a what do you call it beat? Like a polka beat. Whoa. Alright, again we're doubled up. So we're still in the verse. Okay. So we want to peel this one back more and more. There we go. God, so many doubles. I should just go through and just visually go and look and get rid of them. I should be able to see all of them. This one worries me a little bit. sounds almost like something you would want to do on purpose in a certain song if you're creating a song out of nothing, you know, electronic music of some kind. But in here it sounds terrible. Like, there they are. I mean, they're fairly easy enough to see and get rid of. It's just definitely a hassle, and it's definitely not speed. It's not quick. What is that little roll right there? Why does it do that? Is it actually like a little snare roll? That's clearly something we don't want. If anything, we could take these. Let's just try this as an experiment. To be careful about the way we do this so we don't lose the timing of it, the spot. There we go. Whoa. I think what happens is, yeah, it triggers the... That's not going to work. Okay, so what I need clearly is tracks that are turned on that... Let's call it like snare snippets. Let's just duplicate... duplicate these. Well, yeah, that'll work. Snare snippets 1. Snare snippets 2. Okay, so instead of trying to dump these into the MIDI lane, which is pretty stupid, admittedly, that was not that smart, we're going to just trim these completely back so there's no more notes in them, except the little snippets that we want. Oh, come on. Oops. Alright, get rid of the crossfades. Get out of there. Okay. Peel you back. And then we'll put a crossfade back in there. See if that... Well, then we gotta set the routing, right? And we would need to send this to the appropriate effects as well. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Yeah, it's like a little flam. I'm not sure exactly the term there, but it's like a little... Yeah, it might actually be a flam. Alright, so now we have these spots. The thing is we have to be careful now because look at how much duplicate we have. But these two are intended to leave in the little rolls and extra hits and stuff that we want. This stuff we can definitely get rid of. There's nothing here. Like those two little... Yeah, let's leave those in. Why not? If the intention is to leave in little actual audio of little parts that can't be really recreated in MIDI, then just leave in... Better to leave in now to leave in more than to try to take it out later. That needs to be louder though, normalized. See how that sounds. Still bad. maybe this, we could actually get this as a sample. See how this sounds. Yeah, we should use this. The only issue is it has quite a bit of cymbal in it. But I think this part of the beat does have a lot of cymbal. I think. Okay, let's do one more. Let's make this. Oh yeah, and I forgot. I think I left those waves I created are still sitting in the project, aren't they? Yeah, look at that. Oh man, that's sloppy. Gotta get rid of those. I'm glad I thought of it. Okay. Where are you? Okay, so we're gonna render the snare bus. For some reason it did the master bus too, but I didn't have it selected. It's weird. Is my selection correct still? It should be. Yeah. Okay. See, it's telling me render 2 files. Oh, master plus stems, that's why. So let's just do stems. There we go. Let's do snare. Of course, snare. There it is. What the heck? That's weird how it made it so small. Yeah, I think that'll work. At least it'll give us, oh, you know, this should be handy. I have it set, instead of going to the desktop, I'll go into this folder. It should be good. Yep. Source and destination are the same. Oh, okay, so it's in here already. Chorus, snare. Okay, so that there it is. Durr. And let's go put that in the chorus. What we're calling 2. See, eventually I need to label these so I know which one is which. I know 2 right now is just is the chorus. So let's drag that in here. Did it work? Let's reset the factory. And we'll drop this in here. There we go. Oops. Hit the wrong X. Okay. Let's listen to it again. It's still sounding. No, something happened wrong there because that's the same exact sound. That's the same exact file. So we need to call it like snare 2. Let's just do that. It'll be easy that way. Time selection, stems. Stems, we're going to do the snare bus. Wait, are these routed to the snare bus? Yeah? Yeah, okay. Alright. There it is. There it is. The only thing is, I don't know why does it truncate it so bad. Maybe what I need to do, truncate is probably not the right word. Deprecate is probably the better word. Something is just squashing the crap out of it. It's not, I don't think it's my, I should turn these off anyway. That's just the weirdest thing. Maybe it could be these too. Let's try that again, because, man, something's just, maybe it's because I have my volume. Let's set my volume to 0. Let's try that. Overwrite. So it looks like now. There it goes. That's much better. Okay, so I'm not sure exactly what I was doing wrong. Maybe it's just that the snare bus was set so low. I had it like down at -21, so it was coming out real muted, deprecated. Fancy word. All right, let's look at. Where's my? There it is. Chorus snare 2. There you are. Let's put you in here. Come on. There we go. Wow, we need more drums. I don't know what happened to my drums.
Now we're trying to make it to the other side forevermore. Hope we're not mistaken. Life is better on the west. Now we're trying to make it to the other side forevermore. Hope we're not mistaken. Life is better on the westward shore. Yeah.
Where is that snare roll? That's weird. It's gone. It's here. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to put this into snare snippets. And we're going to duplicate it over so I don't have to mess with. Okay.
That westward shore. Then we waded in up to our stomachs. The current took me the other
Almost
way.
sounds like it's not even going
We were crossing for our
Wait, is it even going to the snare bus?
Then we waded. Then we waded in up to our stomachs. The current took me the other way. We were crossing.
This horrible sounding mix to me right now. I'm cringing, but I know it's just because I'm working on the drums. In fact, it's not even useful to have the rest of the track, the rest of the stuff playing. 'Cause I want to find balance in this first. It's awful. Get ready for awful sound. Alright. That's enough for today. I'm going to stop it. So we re-went over creating MIDI out of triggers, and you saw me do a real sloppy job of it. I just need to learn to set my... I think I did use that default, and it worked in the past, but maybe I tweaked something. So I think the release time... The hold time and release time are going to be critical, I think, because you want it to just get one MIDI note for each clean snare hit. Close, instead of like, oh, we're just holding for 19 milliseconds, and then, oh, there's still some audio here. He wants another MIDI note. Like, no, I just want one at a time. So, and then we jumped back and forth between our verse sound and our chorus sound, and then we need to clean up the rest of the track. We'll continue tomorrow with that. I did find a new, better, in my opinion, better sounding chorus snare hit. Let's hear it one more time. Man, that first one sounds pretty to me. Maybe it's because it's doubled up. And maybe because this has there's like so much verb on there. I'm not sure why. Who knows? Is this one not going to verb? No, that one is going to verb. But this one's not going to the snare bus? That's weird. That's weird. It sounds awesome right there. Sounds really good, but then the rest of it sounds kind of weak. So we're going to look into that a little further. But so we're experimenting with grabbing snare hits out of the audio and using them as triggers, as samples from a trigger. So thank you for watching, and I hope you join me for the next episode. We'll try to keep this going. I guess I really shouldn't be saying the word speed because it's not going that quickly. I really wish I could pick it up and just go through here and bang this stuff out. Maybe tomorrow what I'll do is jump in here and just go in real quick as fast as I can and get rid of these. Or more than likely I'll readjust my trigger and redo this. In fact, let's do that. I'm going to delete these 2 MIDI sections. I'm going to come back and adjust my my trigger, put a longer hold, and then maybe give it, you know, a nice release too, so that it you know, it's not thinking it needs 2 MIDI notes when it doesn't. So, all right, thanks for watching.